Hello, brothers and sisters. I want again to welcome you back to this session. This lesson is all about tips for effective interpretation. As interpreters, there are some of the core elements that we need to have or we have to know, especially during interpretation, so that we may maintain our relationship not only between our deaf brothers and sisters, but also with some of the organizations championing for the rights of the deaf people. So I want you to take note that if you are asked to interpret and the interpretation is going to last more than 1 hour, take note that it's necessary to share the task between two interpreters so that you can help each other in terms of whenever one takes rest or a break, so that you can provide the necessary and effective communication with our deaf brothers and sisters. Remember, this is so healthy to all of us as interpreters, and you should ensure as an interpreter that you provide consistent, good quality interpretation to our deaf brothers and sisters. Another thing that I have to bring to attention is about that interpreting from one language to another is intense work, and as interpreters we require a great deal of concentration as well as repetitive movements. So meaning to say that we have to take note because one, we have to use the spoken language, and we put the language into the target language for this case, which is sign language, bearing in mind that it involves a lot of reasoning, concentration, and translating. So as interpreters, we need to pay attention whenever a speaker is giving the message, so that we get exactly the message and be able to give out appropriately as it comes. Remember, in a situation whereby we have two interpreters working together, this means that they are able to share the interpretation with one another, so that they take turns, especially when one takes a break. So as interpreters, we should learn how to share tasks so that we have enough time to relax, rest, so that when we come back again, we give out the appropriate meaning as it comes from the speaker. In practice, this is what I mean. One interpreter can actually actively interpret for at most 20 minutes, but it's appropriate, it's recommendable that we go up to 15 minutes. That's when our energy is drained from our body, so that we need to have at least a rest to gain or refresh ourselves before we come back again for another engagement. So as interpreters, ensure that the maximum minutes you can interpret at a single interpretation should be 20 minutes, but the most recommended, as I have said, should be 15 minutes. You should also note that assisting each other, especially during long hour interpretation, is very necessary. And if for example you are engaged in an event that requires regular breaks, we have no choice but to get as many interpreters as possible to enable us to facilitate the program more efficiently. So it's usually for an interpreter to take a break of about 5 minutes for every 20 minutes or for every 15 minutes of interpretation. So ensure that you don't take a long break because you might also go away from the the interpretation. So meaning to say that when we take a long break, we might forget that we are interpreting and we are only taking a rest, and maybe start engaging ourselves with other activities. So brothers and sisters, ensure that those things that I've mentioned and others that I'm yet to mention, we put into consideration to help each other as interpreters to be able to communicate efficiently and effectively to our brothers and sisters who are deaf, and of course generally to bring about inclusion in the society. I see you in the next lesson.